Welcome to Season 5 of the SARE Ladies podcast. This is where Asian American Pacific Islander women carve out their own space in real estate and shake up the status quo. Join your hosts, Anita Wong and Ashley Cow, as they dive deep into bold strategies, personal growth, and everything it takes to own it. From building wealth to boosting confidence. Let's jump in.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the SARE Ladies podcast. Anita here. So today's episode is a special one. I'm sharing a live keynote conversation from last October's anti-conference with Phil Wang, co-founder of Wong Fu Productions and Bopomofo Cafe, two brands that have really helped redefine how Asian stories are told and who gets to tell them. Now, you might ask, why Phil at a Women Forward real estate conference? Well, yes, Helen from Asian Boss Girl wasn't available, but more importantly, there are just so few people in our community who have chosen to build so unapologetically around culture, community, and identity, and then scale it. And, really, in essence, that's what Serenity stands for. Showing up as yourself, full self, and owning your voice, and building in spaces where we may not have been invited but belong anyway. So, in this conversation, we talk about what it really takes to build something meaningful, how culture shows up in business, and what it means to send the elevator back. Let's get into it.
Right. Hello. How's it going, everyone? We're in Vegas. Wow. That guy had a haircut. I've been in the newborn trenches for 6 weeks, so I'm really glad to be here and get a little bit of a break. Yes.
He just happened to be here on a bachelor party, actually, as well.
It all worked out.
Okay. Well, before I start, maybe I should just start with this. I'll just say, you weren't our first choice.
Yes, I'll be the first to admit that. I was waiting for you to bring it up. My incredible wife was the first pick, and she obviously wasn't available, which is super unfair. She technically could have, and I could have.
You can't force her to be here, though. No.
I'm saying I would have gladly stepped into do all the daddy duty stuff for her to come up, but she wanted to.
Yes.
But yes, I'm very sorry if you wanted to see my wife Helen. You're getting me instead.
He was voluntold to be here, and as you can imagine, we might vibe a little bit more with the Asian boss girls, just a little bit.
I literally know when Helen told me that you guys that we would connect, I was like, I should not be speaking here. And then when you were saying that it's okay, I was like, are you sure? Like, that's the keynote, it should be a female. Like, I don't take up space, right? I'm taking up your space.
He's like, do you know I'm a man, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I'm aware.
I'm like, this is not right, but I appreciate you guys opening up the opportunities to me.
Yes, absolutely. And, I think that, Phil has, I feel like our conversation went so easy in the beginning because I was just like, I feel like I've known this guy forever, right? And I feel like you've just been in our living rooms for so long. And I know not everyone is Asian in this community, but I feel like a lot of people know you because of what you have done in media and regards of representation. And a large part of seeing ourselves in media is, I think, started because of you guys.
I appreciate you saying that. It's funny you say living room because that would imply like a TV. I would say mostly like bedrooms or home dens.
But it sounded way too intimate, though.
Yeah, that's true. I've seen you in your bedroom. No, like when we first started, we had no idea or intention of being any type of like inspiration or role model or pioneer, whatever labels that people have put on us over the years. We were just being ourselves. We were like, I grew up in the Bay Area. Shout out East Bay, anyone? Yeah, I grew up in Walnut Creek and went to school at UC San Diego. So I always had like Asian people around me. I feel I've been very lucky to like feel very comfortable in my own skin. Like I've speaking across the country, like many universities, schools, I meet Asians who have, were like the only Asian in their not just school, but school district, and like they would come to our videos as like their way to like a peek into like the rest of the world or the rest of the country. So I didn't really realize that we were having that effect because I had the privilege of just growing up in California in like, these coastal cities with like, big Asian populations. And yeah, we just were making things and no expectation. This was in like early 2000s, right? So like, let's take ourselves back in time a little bit. I think we're all around the same age, thankfully. Sometimes when I do these talks at colleges, it's really difficult for me to explain to them. There was a time when you couldn't just watch a video anywhere, Like you had to go to your desktop computer, which is already like, what is that? And then you had to go to a website, right click, save target as, download from a FTP server a file onto your desktop, double click it, play it on a media player, and then you could watch a video. And then all those steps are like, what are you talking about, right? So yeah, we had no expectation that we were gonna do anything like this. And we were just always just trying to like just be creative and share our stories ourselves, our humor, our thoughts. And thankfully a lot of people resonated with it. And we, like, the opportunity met technology at the right time. If we were doing this a little bit earlier, then maybe we wouldn't have had the high-speed internet or the digital cameras ready to go. But early 2000s college, that's where we were at.
Yeah, and let's throw some numbers out there because right now, as of this year, 3 million subscribers, over 500 million views. You were like for sure, and a pioneer again for API representation, and then co-founded Bopomofo after Wong Fu happened.
Yeah.
So, and besides that, New York Times bestselling author as a side.
The book was my was the pandemic project.
I see. Everyone's making bread, but
I was writing
toting around with a New York Times bestseller book. That's awesome. So I think the reason why we wanted to invite you today was because the theme of SARE Ladies has really been about authenticity, right? It's about holding on to who you are and holding on to just not apologizing for everything that we are, what we look like and where you are in life, and using that to leverage your business, right? And I feel like you were kind of the epitome of that because, not only did you kind of bring Asian people into the media realm in the early 2000s, but, there could have been a lot of stuff that could have happened in between. Yeah. Right, it's like there could have been a lot of you could have just sold out to white Hollywood and things like that, but you really held on.
Maybe I should have. I'm just kidding. No.
Well, and Bopomofo is really again is sort of like that. You've leaned even deeper into the Asian community. So I want to talk about why you held on to that.
Yeah, I mean, well, first of all, me being not in real estate at all, I was very much like, what am I going to speak on? Like, why would you guys want me here? But you guys have already had incredible speakers that can give you guys all those tips and tricks, right? And all that knowledge. And for me, I just wanted to share, I guess I can be here to share what inspired me or keeps me motivated to still show up for my, my community, and why I have so much pride in my identity. Honestly, man, I think with Wong Fu, on the storytelling and the filmmaking side, literally, it's funny you mentioned could have sold out to white Hollywood. We had a period of time in 2008 where we just were out of college for a couple years. Wong Fu was getting some views on, online. And we're like, man, let's be filmmakers. We don't want to just be on YouTube. Because YouTube wasn't this as mature of a, frontier as it is right now, right? So we're like, okay, let's write a script. Let's get a manager, let's find producers. So we actually tried for a period of time to do the things the traditional way. And we literally wrote a script and we did things, we took a script around town and we literally had some of these studios just say to our face, very not even worried about how it would come off. They're like, oh, you want Asian people in this? You can't cast Asians. There's no one would watch this. Or it's bad. It's a bad business choice if you want to make Asian characters in your movie, or there's no Asian celebrities that will be able to draw eyeballs. And we heard all this, and we're first of all, it was oh man, I've never heard something like that before, in my life. And then also, I knew that online, I was no, there are tons of people that would watch this. It's all these people that have been watching. And this was at a time where social media, online presence, digital creators, like it wasn't a thing yet. So these studios, these executives, they didn't understand what the concept of like having an audience, meant. And I guess in our case, like having a niche audience, right? So we took that feedback and we've had a choice. We're like, oh, should we adjust what we're doing to, basically like fit into what they're expecting of us? Or what we ended up doing, we doubled down and we're like, hey, actually, like, let's prove them wrong. Let's actually like do this even like, go even harder. That's when we actually like started meeting other Asian American content creators at the time. I'm going to, these names that you guys all might recognize, Kev Jumba, Niga Higa, Community Channel, Happy Slip, all these creators, like, and that's when I felt like really empowered that like, Wong Fu and my entire career path only exists because of this community. And when I could see that so clearly, it made me feel even more indebted to them. And it made me feel like I would never want to ever utilize the Asians or my fan base as like just a platform to just get to white mainstream Hollywood, right? If you guys got me here, I'm gonna do everything I can to bring you with me and send that elevator back or go on this journey with us, because I don't, honestly, like if it's just one person, like that's not enough to create real change or have a movement. You need many people, you need a lot of people, you need volume to like make change, right? So that carried on into like every decision that we made, where there were many times, casting could have been different, we could have written different characters, but we're like, we want to stick to, what the fan base that we owe all this to. And then when the cafe came around, similarly, boba, especially like in recent times, matcha is like taken off, and like we've been drinking matcha for like 20 years, right? But like now it's this thing, and it could have been so easy for us to say, hey, let's take this to like, let's open up in West Hollywood and like make this exotic thing. Like, oh look, from the Orient, we have boba, right? And we probably could have sold, really well and like been like the people that. And I'm not saying that like it's wrong to try to share with other communities and cultures. I'm just saying for us, it was very important for us to open in San Gabriel first, which is like the heart of like Asians in like LA County, or Chinese, Taiwanese, Vietnamese there. So it was very important for me to like give back to the neighborhoods and to the people and the communities that gave me all my opportunities. And yeah, for me, like it's all about sending the elevator back. Like there's so much success here. So many people are in great positions of power, of influence. And what good is it if you're not able to like, help someone else? Because someone probably helped you, or maybe you feel like you did it all by yourself, but like, you don't need to carry that trauma with you and continue making it harder for other people. I've definitely talked to people that have said like, well, it was hard for me, so it should be hard for them. And I'm like, that's like such a short-sighted way of like operating, because it's so much better to do things with people and do things together versus like, oh, I did it by myself. And I don't know, I feel like it's just like, life is better when you're able to like move with other people.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was a long answer. Yeah. But.
No, I love that. I think that's something that we always need to hear about, like giving back into your community. And I know that you helped inspire and build up a lot of Asian, content creators, and things have largely shifted, right, to TikTok, and so it was they're of a different generation, but you were there to kind of lift them up. And I think about all of Asians in in media these days, like Crazy Rich Asians, and and I was like, okay, we're here, we've arrived, and I'm like, have we solved things because K-pop Demon Slayer is around? Have we just solved it? But I feel like you had a very different perspective, because I think you're saying like, we're not there yet.
I think it's very easy, or it's okay. Look, I don't want to be like the Debbie Downer and like, hey, well, like it's actually not that great, guys. Like, yeah, you can obviously celebrate the wins. Like, yeah, Michelle Yeoh got an Oscar, Ki Hee Kwan got an Oscar, and K-pop Demon Hunters. Sorry. Demon Slayer. Are you in anime? Is that why?
I think Buffy.
Oh, Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Dating myself.
Okay. It's either that or anime. But anyways, yeah, K-pop Demon Hunters is like, yeah, the #1 movie on Netflix ever. It's insane, right? And you could look at some of these wins and think like, oh, like actually like we've made it. But then when you actually look at, when you really zoom out and you look at the opportunity that's out there, Asian Americans still have actually very, very little agency and control in Hollywood still. And like we're still waiting for opportunities to be given to us by these studios execs, and we're still a demographic that is still doubted all the time. Like K-pop Demon Hunters was like not expected to do so well, and only because it did, now it's like, oh, that was a surprise. Whereas like for people that like were making it and people that know K-pop were like, no, that was for sure gonna be like amazing. And so like we always have this uphill battle, I think, as Asian Americans or in minorities in general, where it's always like you have to really prove yourself. You have to be like 10 times better to like not be doubted or to be deemed a success. And it's honestly very exhausting sometimes, because like sometimes we just want to be mediocre, you know, or we want to fail upwards, right? And that sometimes those opportunities don't really come as naturally to us. So it is very exhausting, but at the same time, this is like where we're at here in this country and this as minorities here. But what I would love to see from Asian Americans specifically is like more cohesion and working together. And like I look at other communities, like, you know, like you can look at in entertainment at least, like you look at the Jewish community, you look at the Black community, and like they've created like power structures and systems of influence, of finance, of creation, and they have pieces in place in all these areas. And Asians honestly like have none of that. We are scattered all around. We have a crabs in a bucket mentality, fragmented, and scarcity mentality. So when there's an Asian that's like out there trying to like, you know, write a movie or direct a movie, like there's a lot of like, oh, there can only be one, right? And I would really encourage, and I don't know if there's some takeaway here in the industries that you guys are in, like don't have this scarcity mentality. Like there's a lot of, like going back to what I was saying, like when we work together, man, it's so much, we can do so much more. And you look at, honestly, other communities, that's how they've gotten ahead, is that they've worked together. They've invested in themselves. They've invested in their new startups. They believe they take that risk. Asians, we're very risk adverse, right? We like secure. We like that ROI that we can count on, right? But like honestly, like other people in other communities, they're like, dude, let's ball. Let's just go for it. Let's try. Let's see what happens. And for them, it's the experience of just like trying. That's exciting. Specifically, like let's talk about movies. Like some people, they'll just write checks because they just want to feel like a movie producer and just like have that experience, right? But I feel like Asians, like we're very, very timid. We don't want to like, we also don't want to like sign on to something unless we already know it's going to be successful, because maybe there's a little bit of like shame. Like, oh, if we fail, people are going to look at us bad. And maybe that's built into us from like our DNA, like culturally, like from our aunties and our parents, like, oh, like you didn't do your SAT score is so bad, like I can't tell people about it now. Like I don't know where it comes from, right? But it's definitely cultural. There's a cultural difference with Asian people being so timid about taking chances, working together, and building up. And that's something that I would love to see change. That's something I'm, you know, just trying to like evangelize as much as I can out there, as best as I can. Yeah.
Yeah, I think when the first time you told me about, I mean, like the other communities that have built these, you know, empires. I'm thinking about like Tyler Perry.
Tyler Perry is incredible, yeah.
Yeah, I just, you know, I think about also the real estate realm too, because, you know, despite how much how much wealth is in the Asian community, I think that we are very largely underrepresented in the large institutional deals.
Or people just want us for our money. You know, like, or like they just like, hey, you guys are like good for, like, we can get like a lot of cash out of this community or something.
Yeah, and to me, there's like a credibility gap. You know, and I think I can see it in media. Yeah. I can see it in real estate. I mean, what do you have to say about that? What are we missing?
No. I mean, that's exactly what I was saying. Where it's like when they look at maybe a project that we're proposing, it's like, well, we're always met first with like, oh, I don't know, and you have to like prove it, like. You have to be undeniable for them to like feel like, okay, this is something that we can get behind, right? And yeah, that's something that like and that's the thing. Like, I think another reason why, going back to like why some people might say I've stayed in my bubble or I've stayed close to my community, is that I don't have to prove anything to them. So I actually like working. Sure, it might be a smaller scale, or it might not be in the exact places that I want to be, but like I don't have to compromise anything of myself. And so when I pitch the project to someone that already knows Wong Fu or already is familiar with our demographic, that education like doesn't need to be as like a big of a mountain to surmount, right? Like it's like, hey, you already know what we're capable of. Let's do this, right? Versus like asking for permission and like I don't know, like and I'm not trying to like talk down on like the process of like just yeah, everyone has to when you are going out to fundraise or get a project off the ground, like it's always going to be work, but like there is something there where it's like when you don't have to like do the extra step of like proving it, and like and you can like talk to your own people that already understand. There is like a level of comfort, and that credibility is already there. So maybe that's another reason why. Maybe I'm like, you can say like I'm just being comfortable, but also like I'd rather be productive and get something done, you know, versus like being out there and like you know, getting a lot of doors shut in my face because they just don't get it, you know.
No, I think we talk about that on SARE Ladies podcast a lot, about like in the culture making a big impact on how we spend money and the motivations of why we earn money, right? Yeah. There's so many times where I have heard, you know, I want to, you know, my parents grew up as janitors. I just wanted to make sure I take care of them because it's shameful for me and my culture to send them to assisted living. And even then, it's like $8,000 a month. Like, who can afford that? And if you want to take care of your parents, and I struggled with this too, like, you know, my parents live in Silicon Valley. If I want to live anywhere near them, I have to buy a $3 million house. And like that has, it changes the trajectory of everything that you do. Yeah. And sometimes when you're raising money from other people that understand that you just say, you know, like I'm here to also take care of my parents, like that have worked really hard to tow their ass from wherever they are into America. Like they deserve that.
Yeah, yeah. No, I everyone has different like motivations, and I want to make sure like I, you know, say this, that like the work that everyone's doing, the motivations of why they're trying to, you know, go into this industry, for example, like I understand, like, and I'm jealous. Like I've been saying, like I need to learn from you guys. I should have sat into some of these keynote or these other talks, you know. So I totally understand, and I'm always about like, yeah, sure. Like everyone is, again, it's in our culture, it's in our DNA. Like take care of our family, take care of our own. But I also like want you to like hopefully hold some space for like, hey, you will, if you're successful, and many of us here are, and success looks different to like a lot of people, but like just hold some space for like, hey, well, what can you do beyond just like your immediate orbit? You know, how can you have a positive effect on someone else or some other group? Or again, it's that whole thing about sending the elevator back. Like you are going to get to a place where like you have done a lot and accomplished a lot, and you'll be at the top of that mountain, and there's always going to be another mountain peak, right? And sometimes it's okay to be like, hey, like this is really good, and I can do other things with like what I've accomplished as well. And I think it's very Asian of us to be like, no, we just got to keep going. Like it's me, all the way to the top. And honestly, like that's exhausting. That only, again, it only helps like a very, very small amount of people. And maybe I'm being too like woo-woo, but it's like I do believe that helping others or believing in others and encouraging others is really important in part of your success story. Like if you think of like you're a building. If you're thinking about a building, but like if each of us is like, you know, a pillar, like everyone's trying to like get really high and get you know, be the tallest pillar. That next level is actually going to be very unstable, right? It's like if there's one that's sticking up or some that are not, you know, it's not even. It's much better as a community if we want to really gain more power or agency in this country, if we have a lot of pillars that are all at the same level and helping each other out, right? Versus like just one that's sticking up and just like, well, it sucks for you guys down there, right? I would like to believe that if we have more of that like herd or group mentality, we could be actually so much further along in this country because of all the reasons that you said. Like, yeah, we have amazing spending power. We have population just by numbers also. Like, for some reason, we are still like this very, very small marginalized percentage and community here in the States, and it doesn't need to be that way, but I think it is because we have a very much so tunnel vision of just like, I gotta just take care of myself first, so yeah.
Yeah, and I think we talked about that a little bit, like, I feel like in real estate, whenever I bring people into the real estate realm, it's sort of like their come to Jesus moment, It's like they're sick of their jobs, they're sick of their bosses, they're sick of the relationship that they're in, they don't want to be continuously laid off by their tech companies and be stressed out and things like that. And I also say that we're like the answer for recovering A+ Asians. Because it's like all these careers that we
control. You get to finally have some control for yourself.
Exactly, and I think that we didn't have a choice in some realm. I mean, I was only told Lisa said she only had 2 choices. I had 4 choices. I think at least engineer, and like there was like one other one that was like acceptable for my parents for us to be. I think I was like an accountant or something. But you can only be those things because they thought about the formula.
Yeah.
For success. Yeah. And then, these people who are, doing well in those careers, and they look up and realize that's not the thing that they want to do, or that they want to be creative, they want to do other things, they want to spend more time with their kids. The plans change. And real estate steps in, and, I think that, you also had, you had success with Wong Fu, and then you actively chose Bopomofo. I mean, he went backwards. He chose restaurant life, whereas like everyone was like getting away from restaurant life. Yeah.
Oh, I always joke, especially in entertainment, right? Like the story is, if you're like a struggling actor, you start waiting tables to try to get into making movies, and I'm like, I started making movies just to like wait tables. I kind of went backwards. But that was my choice. But you're absolutely right. Like a lot of our previous generations. They went into restaurants because it was like a survival mode. It was like you own your own business, you could count on that. It was like, that's the workhorse. We got 1 minute. But I chose this, and it honestly came down to just like where my passion was. And maybe this is a good place for me to close. Like, again, I don't want to be too woo-woo. I feel like real estate is very like black and white numbers. Like, like you guys are very like pragmatic. But like, I do think I would encourage everyone to think about what their why is, what their passion is. Like, and if your passion is real estate, that's awesome. You're gonna be even greater at this, right? But ultimately, like, I mean, like you said, the people are looking for different things after like their come to Jesus moment, or like they're like looking for options. And I think that's amazing. I think if this is your way to find that, like, congratulations, and like really just go for it though. Like nothing can be done like really well without passion. And my dad, something that stuck with me for like a long time, it's funny you say like janitor, like my dad said, hey, if you're gonna someday be a janitor, if you're the best janitor in the world, you will be a millionaire. Like it's like that kind of mentality. So I think it's awesome that like you guys are all here trying to learn more and enrich yourself, and I'm glad I can be something that hopefully like adds to like your story. But I'm really honored that I got to speak to you guys today.
Thank you. Awesome. Round of applause, please. I know, I'm gonna shove in some Q&A. Yeah, burning questions. This one, yeah.
I love Q&A because I'm always talking this way, but maybe I'm not saying anything you guys want to hear.
Hey Phil,
Hi.
My name is Annie, and I'm actually one of the co-creators of Subtle Asian Real Estate. And hey everyone. I actually didn't say hi to people. Sorry. I'm actually really glad you came today instead of Helen.
Oh no.
No,
Yeah.
none of that. I don't want to age myself either. But I was a fan of you guys starting Yellow Fever before YouTube existed.
Oh my goodness.
And I was trying to think, how did I find you guys back then? Some weird email link telling you to download this when I have
Instant Messenger, yeah.
DSL?
Yeah, DSL, yeah, DSL.
It took me a couple hours to get to your video.
Yeah.
But I've been a fan since then, and Wong Fu weekends for the longest time.
Thank you.
So, about myself, I've been running SARE for the last 5 years, kind of for a volunteer thing, passion. My day job is in education.
Yeah.
And I work in a pension job where it's safe.
Yeah.
And I just got my enlightenment movement where like I want to leave my job to go into full-time real estate. And
All right.
what I want to know is how was that conversation that you had with your parents at the beginning saying, hey, I'm not going to go the corporate route.
Yeah.
I want to do something that I feel passionate about. Creativity. Because again, we're Asians.
Yeah.
If you have a pension job like I do, you have a corporate job, you will never leave for life and you stay for there for 20, 30 years. But in your situation, YouTube was not even a thing then. You were at the forefront. You had no one else to look up to. I do now, I do, but still, it's a path I've never gone through. And it's scary.
Yeah.
So at that time, when you had no one to look up to, going into the arts and creativity, which probably Asian families all say, how did you get through that? And how did you have that conversation with them?
No, thanks. Yeah, that's a great question. Part of it, I'm going to first give a lot of credit to my sister. She was pre-med. And so they got a doctor. And also this was very early on, like there was no understanding really of what I was really going to do. So you're right, it was a weird conversation. I told them that, because I had no expectation that I was going to be front facing or any type of like director or filmmaker. I said, I'm going to go into visual arts because entertainment business is still a business. So at the very least, I'll be at a desk somewhere in the business of entertainment. And I had no idea what that meant. I just said the words that might make them feel okay. And then I think what ultimately happened was, at the end of the day, I think all of our parents, when they don't know what you're going into, they're just worried that you're not going to be safe or that you're not secure, right? But I think what changed the tone for them is they just saw how hard I worked, and once they saw that, their tone kind of changed. Like, oh, he really cares about this, or like, oh, he's not going to art because he's a deadbeat or whatever. Like, or they know that being creative is actually a very difficult life, but he's okay with that, or he's built for it or something. And so now, like for the first early years, my dad for the longest time was like, oh, can you just go to law school? Like all you have to do is read, which I always thought was funny because I'm like, Dad, I think it's a lot more than that. But he always wanted me to just go into law school. But then after a while, and they saw how hard I was working, how much I was doing for this. Now their tone started shifting into like, hey, you're working too hard. Like you need to sleep more. You need to eat more fruit. You need to blah, 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 all that stuff, right? And so like, it's a little bit of just like, hey, you need to trust, especially at like the age that we're at, if there's a career change, you got to tell them like, dude, I'm an adult at this point. Like I know what I'm doing. I've done the thing that you wanted me to do or that I thought was the right thing. Now, and I'm safe. Like now this might be a concept that's hard for their generation to understand. I have a passion, or I have a new interest, and my life can change. And it's just being patient with them, and not getting mad at them if they don't understand. But honestly, it comes down to just showing them. They might not understand it like with the words, but they just got to see it. Yeah.
Okay. I've been watching Wong Fu since Yellow Fever days as well.
Oh, God.
And over the years, I thought of how content creation has changed. Like when Wong Fu was first founded, content creation is not even, like content creator isn't even a term yet.
Yep.
And nowadays, it seems like everyone has to be a content creator if you own a business, whether they like it or not.
Yep.
That's the main way you get traction. So like the main difference is with Wong Fu, the content itself is the product, whereas with Bopomofo, the content itself is not the product, it's to get people to your product.
Right.
So like, what is the difference you would say in your mentality in approaching those two different kinds of content?
Yeah.
Or is it more similar than we might think?
This is a great question that I hope it can be very applicable to you guys. Because you asked this question outside, like what's a skill that maybe doesn't get talked about enough when you have a business? And I said storytelling. And so I actually think the reason why I transitioned so well, or the reason why Bopomofo was able to like be so successful is because I came in with like this already 15 years training of being able to tell stories. And I could tell the story of why I was going into cafes or restaurants, why our product is better or great, why you should come, blah, 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 right? Why you should support me, if anything. Like, you could not even like my boba, but do you like me? Do you want to support me as a person? Like, that's what I'm talking about, right? So it's really, I think there was a period of time where, yeah, if you talked about storytelling, or if I told you that you had to be in front of camera, that's a personality type, and some people are like, oh, that's just not me, and I can't ever find a way to like merge that with my personality. That's fine. I'm not saying like, hey, everyone here, you guys got to start vlogging, like, and do that. But I think you do have to at least open yourself up to some level of vulnerability to share why you're doing what you're doing, or why someone should work with you, or why your service is better, or why your building is better, or why your movement is better, your project is worth their time. Because in this day and age, we have so much information coming to us. Everyone that you're talking to that you want to try to like work with, they're talking to so many other people. You need to figure out a way to like create a lasting impression in them as to why, again, you are someone that they want to work with. So whether that's creating content around who you are, or your properties, or your business venture, that it's got to come with that. Because if that's not there, it almost becomes like, I don't trust you because you have no digital fingerprint. Who are you? Like what in 2025, if I can't find a couple things about you online, that's weird. In a sad way. And it's sad because I remember early 2000s when like photos online, you would put them in private photo albums, right? Or Facebook, you didn't want people to see it. Now we're in like a weird era where it's like, oh man, not enough strangers saw my post. It's like, isn't that crazy how like we've flipped that switch, right? But that's where we're at. And I think if you show your authenticity, if you show your integrity, treat all of this as like the content as your way to like tell people about like why you're, someone that's worth their time, but also why you're a good person, or why you're going to take care of them. I actually get fed like a lot of like fun real estate content from creators, and I'm like, dude, things are getting crazy out there. Like there's some really creative stuff. I would encourage you guys to think about that and mold it into like what you're comfortable with, or at the very least, find someone in your enterprise or in your partnership that will be that person. My co-founder, Eric, he is not in front of camera. He does all the finance, legal, HR, and I'm the one that is doing this, right? And that's what our partnership is about. So I would encourage that for sure. Great question.
All right, round of applause, everyone. Okay, I'm gonna do something kind of fun. I'm going to send a video to Helen. Oh. I'm gonna tell her that that Phil is holding down the fort. So I want to give a round of applause and a wave, so I can send it to Helen. Helen, who's holding down the fort with their 2 kids. Yes. Okay, ready? Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3.
Hi, babe. Look, I'm here like for you with all these wonderful people. Say hi. Thanks for letting me come. Thanks for letting me be here.
Awesome job, guys.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of the SARE Ladies Podcast. If you enjoyed the conversation, make sure to follow, share, and leave us a review. It helps more women in real estate find this community. And don't forget to connect with us at sareladies.com for more resources, stories, and support on your investing journey. Until next time, keep building, keep learning, and keep breaking barriers.